have a large variety of succulents right here, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways that I propagate them. The first one is by a leaf cutting, and you don't really even cut it off, you just kind of pull it. So the easiest way is you just kind of push down and twist, or push down a little and move side to side, and they just snap right off. That's a really good leaf right there to start with. Do another one, just kind of push down and go side to side, and they come off pretty easy. Now you don't want to use any leaves that are damaged or starting to dry up. You want to start with a really healthy leaf. Now what I do with them, let me get this stuff out of the way. So what I normally do with them is just throw them on a tray, and I like to date it. These are just about a month old. And I just put them on a tray, I just throw them on here, and then I'll take a sprayer, and this is just a bottle of water, and I just spray. Just like that, every couple of days. So that's one way you can do it. You could also just, like these ones I just took, you can go ahead and just lay them on top of some soil like this. And when you do this, if you want to lay them on the soil right away, do not water for about a week. You want the end of this to callus over. And callusing over is just the end of it drying and healing just a little bit. You want it to not be moist on the tip anymore. That way no bacteria can get in there and cause it to rot. So I can lay them on there like that. I like to just throw them on the tray, because I don't have to worry about whether they're going to rot or not. I just throw them on there. Once they start to get roots like that, then I will put them in soil like this. And let's see. Now some of them, depending on the variety, some will grow roots first and some will grow babies first. This one actually looks like it might have 2 babies on it, but there's no roots. I'll just leave it for a little bit longer till I see some roots. Here's one with some roots. Like lots and lots of roots on this one. And then I'll just go ahead and put it in some soil. Another one with some roots. So I just kind of push that down there a little bit, cover it up. Once they are rooted and I put them in the soil, then I will water them in with a 50%, whoops, that is not what I wanted to do. I'm going to get underneath this. I will water them in with a 50% strength house plant fertilizer. These are almost exactly 1 month old, and they have lots and lots of babies. Almost every one of them has a baby on it. Some of them have started to grow roots on them. That's how I do my leaf cuttings. This succulent right here is almost a year old. So to go from a leaf about this size, where it took one off here before, clean that one off. To go from a leaf, now I wouldn't use this leaf because it seems to be a bit dried up, but to go from one about this size to a plant this size took nearly a year. The second way that we can propagate succulents is by doing a tip cutting, or cutting the head off. So this plant here, it's getting tall and lanky because it's not getting the proper amount of light it needs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to try to get at least a 2-inch, maybe 3-inch, let me take some of these out of the way, stem, and I'm just going to cut that right off just like that. Now, then what I do is I pull these bottom leaves off, and of course I will propagate those. I'm going to take off a few more. There, just like that. And then I'm just going to take this plant and stick it right down in some soil. Now, You want to let it callus off if you plan on watering it right away. If not, you can just go ahead and put this down in soil in a succulent mix, something that has really good drainage. Usually when you have some really good drainage, it also allows oxygen to get in there. There'll be enough oxygen to get in there that this will still callus off. So if we go ahead and stick this down in some soil, we don't want to water this for at least a couple of weeks. You always want to leave some leaves on the bottom of these because it still needs to be able to feed itself through the leaves. Same thing on this one. I'm going to come in here and pop one of these off. I'm going to cut it. You always want to use a really sharp pair of scissors or knife. I always try to kind of look at them and see if it has a nice looking shape. So like, I'm wanting to pull this one off, even though it looks okay, but I think I'll do that. So there we have a nice little succulent. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one off too. Same thing, pull some of these bottom leaves off. Mostly because they're pointing down. And let's see, I think that will be good. Okay, so I'll show you in a minute. I love how this is the same plant, but it's two different colors. Okay, this one also getting a bit tall. Look how tiny that is. So I will find this one. I'm going to wait on this one before I cut it. Now, it's got roots like crazy coming out of the bottom. Can you see those? Roots growing off of the stem. So that basically tells me I've not been giving this enough water, and that's why these leaves are also wrinkled. You see how they're shriveling up? So it needs water. So before I go and cut on it, I'm going to soak it in water for couple of days maybe until I see these leaves plump back up. It'll be fine. Now, what's going to happen with these that I cut off is they're going to grow more babies on top of there. These will grow. This is a faster way to propagate because the babies will grow faster than if they are on just a leaf cutting. And I'll show you here in just a second. Clean these out, and I'll pot these up here in a minute. When I did the video a month ago, that didn't work. I had cut all of these off and potted them up, and I'm going to show you in a minute the root system on one of those. These already have, this one has 3 babies. This one has 1, 2, 3. See if I can pull one of these out. There we go. This one has several babies on it. Now, mind you, this is 1 month ago. So we go from 1 month on this one to a month here. That is the difference. That's the difference in the growth rate because this already has established roots and this one is trying to create a whole new plant and its roots. Much quicker this way. So one of these that got cut off is, see these 4 right here? That is a cut off the top of one of these. So let's go in here and see what kind of root system we have. Pretty nice, holding all that soil together. So you can't, there's one sticking out at the bottom. But anyhow, there's some roots. That's just a month, just 4 weeks of growth. You know, compare that again to the root system on those other little ones that I just showed you. Let's pull another one out. Yeah, lots of roots because it's holding the soil together pretty well. So I make my own succulent mix. It's 1 part potting mix, 1 part sand, coarse sand, and 1 part perlite. Gives me a really good draining soil. And all I do then is I just take the top that I cut off and I just push it down in there really well. Make sure you get really good contact. And then I will wait a week or 2 before I water them again. Just like this. Have the bottom, push it in. Now I push it in there pretty firm because once I do water it, it will settle, that soil will settle a little bit more. And this last one, and I fill it pretty much to the top. And just really shove it down in there. Just like that. Now the other way to propagate a succulent is to just pull a baby off. This is a round tip aloe, and you see it has lots of little babies in here. I've already pulled this one out, and it's got a really nice root on it. So just lay that here, and I'll go ahead and I'm just kind of loosening it a little bit. I'm not trying to pull too hard. Well, maybe I will have to pull really hard. I can get that one. That one's not wanting to come off, so let's try another one. I could probably go in there and cut it. Here we go. There we go. Look at the root system on that one. Okay, so let me set that aside. We'll just pot these up. Same succulent mix that I used before. That, my friends, is 3 ways to propagate succulents. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.